The IFC dedicated properties inside ArchiCAD that are assigned to the different elements are available through the individual element settings. So if you go to the settings of this wall, for instance, and go all the way down to classification and properties, you'll see a listed number of IFC properties at the end of this list and this tab. Notice also that the first 4 or 5 of these so-called properties are actually attributes. Attributes are mandatory property values that ArchiCAD will assign to the IFC version of the model regardless of the translators. Everything else will pretty much depend on the selected translator. So let's go and check the additional IFC properties for that one wall. So let's click on this button here, and now you'll get a full list of the available translators for that wall element using the current IFC translator preview. Now, note the translator preview is the one that has been selected with the set preview button on the IFC translators, like so. So back to our element IFC properties, you'll notice that some of them had a tick button on the left. So those are going to be the ones that will be included. And the ones that are not ticked, they're not ticked because they don't have a value. Also, some of them will have a connection or link icon visible in this region here. And that means that ArchiCAD is actually populating that value from an internal value or other property. In the cases of having an optional value that doesn't have a link, you can assign a value just by typing the value directly in this interface. Also note that on the top left, you have 2 different buttons. On the one on the left, you will show only the properties of the active translator. So click on that. You see that some of them will be reduced. And if you click on the next one, it will show only those properties with values, which is even a reduced list. Let's unclick the first. And now with this, you will have access to the properties that are available for that element with or without the preset IFC translator. Let's also review the translation of these attributes from ArchiCAD and into an IFC. So let's do a comparison side by side on the values you'll see on an IFC viewer and the values inside ArchiCAD. So now let's compare the ArchiCAD file against its IFC version. And let's just do one comparison on this wall right here. Let's go and check the settings of the wall. And let's go straight into the IFC properties of that element. Like so. So notice that the element will have a number of mapped values when we check the attributes in the IFC. So let's start from the top. The type of element, the IFC wall that you can find right here on the top left or on the IFC element value here, actually comes from the ArchiCAD classification, and it's right on the top of the IFC properties of the element. Notice also the IFC ID, which is not the same as the internal ArchiCAD ID. And that one is the one that starts with 14, and you'll find it right here as the global unique ID in the IFC version of it. Notice that there is also the global ID as in the attributes. The type of object is share, so that is the object type, not its class. And you'll find that here in the predefined type and also under type. Then the tag is the unique number in ArchiCAD that is the global unique identifier, and that becomes the IFC tag right here. Those numbers are meant to be unique for every single instance. Then the other settings that you'll find in here, like the type name comes from the actual building material. So let me close this in here. That'll come from the name of the composite. Reinforced concrete, that comes from the actual material within the composite. Columns and walls comes from the layer set. And then all the additional parameters and properties will be part of what was exported from the IFC file, like the load-bearing settings that are coming from the structural and analytical functions load-bearing element. Okay, let's take a look at another source of how to look at the IFC properties inside ArchiCAD. So let's go back into our file, and just for the sake of the exercise, let's select this series of walls up in the rooftop. And now let's try to edit the common properties that are going to be exported as IFC properties. So the way to do that, or the best way to do that, will be by using the IFC Project Manager, which you can access through File, Interoperability, IFC, and IFC Project Manager. Like so. Now, let's go and select those walls by clicking this button right here that shows the model selection in this particular list. With those selected on the left, notice that on the right-hand side, you will have access to all those values. Granted, you don't have the option to show only items already with values. You can populate the IFC properties with whatever values you feel like if you are going to type them. Let's say I'm going to call these walls on parapet, and that'll be their description now. Other values will have a drop-down option. This is an IFC text, that's a type of value, and therefore I can write pretty much anything that I will need to write in there. Now, if you go into, let's say, the wall common property set, you'll see that some of these are actually a true or false type of property value. Those are Boolean data types. Some of the ones are text or labels, and some of them are identifiers, meaning they require a unique number or a combination of alphanumeric values. Note also that some of these values have been linked to other values from ArchiCAD properties or from ArchiCAD parameter values. So let's go and take a look at that, because that will be a most efficient way to bring the information into the IFC file from existing information from the ArchiCAD file.